It's art at the end of the day, and welcome to episode 14. I've got two guests today. One lady I've met down here at Royal Albert Wharf and became good artistic friends with, and that's Neda, and I'm going to be introduced to her friend Sarah, who are collaborating together on their art and got a forthcoming exhibition coming soon, which you will hear about in the actual podcast. So we shall begin. Thank you for listening, and here are Neda and Sarah. I usually go with the same question, which is, how did you become an artist, or when did you become an artist? Whoever wants to go first.
Okay. Oh, so you're
is
not...
it, yeah, no, go on,
okay.
Come ahead. I can...
When? I guess from very much childhood.
Yeah.
The sort of the artistic side of me.
Yeah.
But becoming an artist, I guess I am becoming.
No, you are.
Haven't.
You are. You've certainly influenced me since I've been here. Definitely, because I think you do. I mean, I was envisaged that I'd come down here and be stuck in the corner and not speak to anyone. But these guys are very accommodating, and
I think communication, especially with the other artists or people who are in the same studio with you, is very important, because it gives you an opportunity to express yourself, also to find out what other people are doing. So it's essential. It's part of your life.
Wow. And that's where you're quite lucky with this studio block.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not in this studio. My studio space, but is in Shoreditch.
Yeah.
Is mainly woodworkers and ceramicists and jewellery makers. So we all live in our little boxes.
Yeah, right.
So it's a typical, what I would say, more typical studio environment where everybody comes in, you sit in your box, and you don't see anybody, and then you leave your box and go home. You spend 8 hours on your own in a concrete
so that's how I thought I would be
doing
here.
Stuff. Yeah, which is because it's not open plan, and because it's not so. I think the ethos of this particular studio environment is that people share things and share things with the community a lot more than ours is. So that's. I mean, this is half the reason that I enjoy working with Neda.
Yeah.
Is my work practice is completely diametrically opposite to hers, but it's actually really good to have this zing when
when you
bounce
bounce
off
each other,
so that you can challenge
important.
each other to actually go, okay, so in Neda, I keep going to Neda, you have to try and make it tidier. She's lovely at expressive art.
Yeah.
And,
yes.
And she tells me to be
There is
less
a lot of
nerdy.
splashing about.
No, I've offered been Julia.
Yes.
Came over was about 18 months ago and said, do you suffer from OCD? And I went, no, I'm a photographer, it's going to be tidy.
Exactly.
I can't make a mess, really, even if I wanted to. But yeah, it is the vast difference from like John next door with his...
I know, he's lovely.
But that's the way you are, though, isn't it? It's
but the strange thing is, I am an OCD painter, I would say. Very I struggle to be... not to make it look like it's supposed to look.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is not good for a painting where you're trying to express ideas rather than...
But if that works for
create
you.
an object. But sometimes I paint things so the object becomes so important you lose the meaning of the painting or the intention of the painting.
Yeah, whereas
and my studio is a mess. And you go to Neda's studio and she is like, expressive, inking and everything, and hers is tidy. It's not fair, half tidy, or far tidy than mine, which is why we meet here.
But but we don't bother each other, though, do we? Which I find that nice as well. That we don't. We're all diving in each other. We talk and then we go and do our thing, and then we talk. Like the meeting point is with the tea and the tea or coffee place there.
Absolutely.
But I love it down here.
Exactly.
And
me too. I think it's a very nice.
Can't leave.
Exactly.
I'll be buried here because I love it down here. And to get on with everybody, because the amount of artists we've got both sides. Yeah. It's been wonderful.
It is wonderful. It is, and I think it's a very nice mix of people.
Yeah.
As Sarah was saying, we have doers and makers.
Yeah.
We have artists and people who don't,
It's amazing and superb. Sarah, how did you start?
Right. bit like I've always drawn.
Yeah.
But I never did art at school because I could do sciences. So I grew up in the era where if a girl could do sciences, there's no way she was let near the art projects. So I did maths, physics and chemistry. Incredible, which is why I am slightly nerdy.
Having said that, I did maths, chemistry.
Yeah.
There you go. So maybe the
not very
logical planning and all that may come into the art.
Yeah, but then I worked for years, and I did murals for my own pleasure, just to decorate the house and things like that. And I think this is when you come later to becoming a full-time artist, you don't value your work as much because you see it as something you did as an escape from the real work.
Oh, yeah, I can't agree with that.
So you're more doubting of whether I'm an artist. I'm like I have been a full-time artist now since I left college, which was 2011, and I still don't count myself as a real artist because I doubt everything I do.
Yeah.
I can't go up and say, if somebody says, "Oh, I really like this," I go, "Well, yeah, I can see the faults in it. It's not what I would write." And people who are trying to get me to market my work go, "Shouldn't be so negative about it." It's like, well, that's what's going through my head. This is not what I've done all my life. It's what I wish I could have done all my life. And I have had people tell me, well, if you were really an artist, you would have become an artist when you were young because,
it doesn't work
and you're thinking, well, actually, no, there's so much pressure on anybody who can do anything else but art to do that other thing because they've got to earn money, they've got to get a house, they've got to have a life, they've got to get a partner.
But I think, generally speaking, whether you've been practicing it or not, you are an artist. As in, you have the mentality of an artist. You see things with an artist's eye, and I think that's something which you don't necessarily learn.
Do you think we all see the world in a different way than non-artists?
I think we do. Have you ever tried to explain anything you've taken? And we went to a fairly terrible art college where they didn't really discuss how you talk about your art. And I can talk about space and, the depth of that because it's, with black and white photography. There's a real depth in it, even though it's quite a flat image.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you're thinking, well, I didn't get taught to speak that way. I didn't get taught to see that way.
Right.
So innately, deep down, and it's definitely not a science thing. Science is black and white. It's facts.
Yeah.
So I think that's always been in us. What it is, it takes a while to fight out of you and we go, that's what I want to do. I want to give up all this other malarkey.
I think that you do look at the world differently.
I found that because I thought as a child and all that was strange because I look out the window and look at shapes and things like that. I'm always staring at things. Even now I still stare at things.
And people think you're weird.
Yeah, they think you're not always daydream again, but I'm not. I'm fixated on something.
And I was always, it's like I'd go to conferences and always be doodling all over. It's like the symposium documents, it'd be caricatures or it's like ideas of things. And people would look at you going, are you that bored? And it's like, no, this is not about boredom. This is about concentrating on what you're saying. But it's how my brain works. If I am drawing, I'm taking more in. Because I'm looking at the world differently. I'm thinking about it differently.
Colours and shapes and things and that.
And you also remember things differently. Because I remember, during COVID, when I was doing Zoom things with a lecture or something like that, I would draw everybody's faces, and then afterwards I would remember the lecture or the talk because of I said, yes, that was so and so. Otherwise, you would forget who they were.
So I think I'm wired to be an artist.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you are.
It just takes you a while to figure out whether that is or not. Because I've been taking photos for years, but doing the old jobs, driving jobs, and then I was doing an office job later on, and then went, I've had enough.
Exactly.
I'm just going to take a chance.
And I feel slightly sorry for the people who do go. I mean, like we went to college with the 18-year-olds who then become artists and then become disillusioned because you can't live as an artist. So they give it up, and then it's like, how do you get back to it once you've actually done? I gave up work to go to college to see if I was an artist. Because I couldn't not paint when I got home. My lounge was covered in paint. And it is that thing of, I would go home from a 20-hour day and still paint.
Yeah.
My flat stank of turps because I'm an oil painter. People come round and go, "What have you been drinking?"
It's a cheap wine you've had.
I lived in Vauxhall all the time, so I expected it. But the reality is that it was my way of switching off, and you start worrying, is it just because it's therapy? And then you're thinking, well, actually, I went to art college to prove it wasn't therapy, and it made me even worse.
It's within you, isn't it?
I had to do it full time.
You put part of you on that canvas, don't you? Really, it's all
Yeah.
from the heart, isn't it? All the time. It is your reputation of whatever your
it's a
painting
way of
level.
expressing yourself.
Yeah.
Because as an artist, you just need to express yourself and to communicate that.
Yeah.
And that's, you just find out that you just have to do it.
Yeah.
It's I'm forever snapping either with my phone if I haven't got my camera with me or with the camera.
Yeah.
And I hide behind the camera. I don't like having my picture taken at all. At all. But it's an amazing thing.
But it's the scariest thing in life, isn't it? Because I hate. Neda keeps nagging. We're having shows this year. COVID was brilliant for me because I could hide away in my little bunker, and I haven't shown anything properly for 5 years, and I don't want to. Apart from the fact that I can't move in my studio now for bits of paper and canvases.
And you produce anyway.
Yeah, you produce anyway. But the whole thing about producing art is actually you do need people to look at it to go, okay, do I get anything from that? Because it's actually, I know I don't like them after I've finished them because I'm on to the next idea. Because the reality is so many ideas going through your head and you have to get through them. But actually, when people look at them, or when I look at something that's 5 years old, that I don't count as mine anymore because I haven't seen it. It's been a box for 5 years. You look at it and go, oh wow, I really get. And I once had somebody cry in front of a painting of mine, and it's the most amazing moment where somebody is that emotional about these daubs you've put on a canvas that it means something to them. They make not what I intended it to mean, but actually it brought out an emotion which actually a lot of people won't express. And this is in a public space, surrounded by people.
It's wonderful when you sell. And the person's taking that home.
Of course.
Although it is mine, but it's I don't know, it's an hard thing to explain.
Yes.
But when someone else has bought your picture and finds joy in that, what you've done, I think it's unreal. I think it's just amazing. And unfortunately we've got to make money with doing the art and we have to sell them, but I think that's the secondary part of it really.
Very much
think
so.
A person enjoying your art and buying it is the thing you strive for, I think.
Yeah, I think it's them actually recognising something in it. It's they actually, even if it's not what you intended or what you had on your mind, it is linked to them. Something in it has made them see something in their lives that they want to.
It doesn't necessarily have to be what you painted.
Yeah.
But as long as they get a story and a sense of emotion out of it,
absolutely.
It doesn't matter.
For me, because I'm an abstract artist, and people always sort of say, what is it that you are trying to say or to show? And I'm saying exactly that. If you see something in it, it is you who are seeing it. I don't have to dictate it.
So you prefer to let them see it rather than go, oh, this is
exactly
a storm on the seaside or whatever you'd go. You'd rather then make the story.
Exactly, you make the story.
Yeah, superb. It's I get a feeling you can't explain, I think.
Exactly.
I think it's wonderful. And I still have doubts. And it's not until these guys say to me, that's brilliant, and I go, oh, okay. It's like with the braided hair when people were drawing my pictures on a workshop. I'm going, oh, and they're going to me, you inspire me. And I'm going, oh my God. Hold on, I just got to go outside. I lack self-confidence, but Neda and Chris and John are forever going, wow, that's wonderful, that bit.
Which I think is, as an artist, you do need that community, and it's very rare in London, because I think the problem with London is where people come to become artists within inverted commas. It's where you become famous. It's where the money is. So you get the community. Sometimes there's a community of artists who just are fighting everything. They're not supporting. It's almost like you almost want to. I'd hate to live in a commune. I'm not that sort of sharey sort of person. But with an artist, you want to have a body of other artists who can actually just look at your stuff and go, yes, we have started to work together a lot more better because we used to go and critique each other's work a long time ago. I really love Neda's work. I love the depth of the colours and the layers of it, and the fact that you want to dive into some of them. And yet I can't do abstract, and I often don't understand abstract painting, but there's something that draws me into abstracts which they're not just flat, just not flat colour schemes, but they've got this depth. But I always do see things in them, and I just got to know, that's got like a bird in the distance, and there's waves, and she went, yeah, okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's fine because you're finding yourself. But having said that, again, going back to looking at somebody else's work and getting inspiration or liking them, looking at Sarah's work, there is so much story in there, and it is lovely to sit there and actually make these stories in your mind and actually live with that.
Yeah.
And that again is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
The same way as your picture here.
Yeah.
So much story in there.
There was a lot. There
is a lot of story.
When I took it, I see that gentleman walking down the street, and I knew that sign, and I thought he'll fit that. That's all I see.
Yes.
But
it's taking that moment to see that.
But every time someone sees it, they go, "There's the colour there. There's like depth because you've got the number 9 in the background." They go, and I go, "Oh, really? I didn't see that."
But the gentleman has got a lot of story.
Oh,
what he's wearing, how he's walking. I mean, it's wonderful.
He wasn't a homeless guy. He was too clean for a start off. I spoke to him afterwards, and he just liked to dress that way.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's the reason why I got mine set above, because I thought that's his mindset. He wants to dress like that. That's it.
Yeah.
And good luck to him.
And the same, with Sarah's work. There is so much story. You look at a building, and it's sort of derelict or whatever, but it's got a lot of story.
Yeah.
Something has gone onto that, and then capturing it with emotion is really very moving.
Same as yours. I often come up when no one's here. I'll come up and have a little sneaky peek. Oh, yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I'll come up and have a sneaky peek. Yeah, because I think it's inspiring. And it's wonderful.
But I mean, that is why we started working. There are things where we look at our work and they're so different, but they're the same, because we both work in vibrant colours, but also it's about we both hate the word conceptual. We both of us do things where we have something we're working about.
Yeah.
There is context in your work. Yeah, I think that's very important that you have some context.
So are they thoughts in your head that's what I want to paint, or is it natural as you start painting and then something comes along, or both?
I tend to work from. It's like I've currently got 3 projects on them. Two which both were joint with Neda, but she didn't do one of them.
Half did.
So 2 of them are based on books I've read, which have just inspired me with these ideas, and then the other one is a definition for a haven, or it's a Gaelic word, fruin, which is basically a crag that you can shelter from the storm. But none of my paintings are of crags or shelters, but it's that idea that for me, a book-lined room is a haven.
Yeah.
You shut out the world, and it was sort of the post-COVID period where actually, where is your haven? Because sometimes it wasn't your home because you were sharing it with people that you were thinking. So it's that sort of thing where something sets off an idea. So Conference of the Birds we've been doing now for a year almost. No, since 2 years. But actually, these ideas, they're not short little, I'm doing pictures, I'm not a graphic designer, I'm not doing pictures for a book. So, Fruin has been 2 years. Conference of the Birds has probably been 2 years, but we're only at very early stages of it. Sweet Thursday is 5 years.
Some of that a while ago.
Yeah. But so I know, because I normally work from either a concept or a story or a poem. Yeah. And it's not as though I illustrate the poem. These poems or this imagery of it stays in my mind, and then it shows itself as I am painting it. So it's something which you have had it in your subconscious, unconscious, and then it manifests itself.
Do you sort of pre-sketch it, or do you just go straight in?
No sketching.
No, so straight on the canvas.
Straight on the canvas.
what you create on the canvas is
yeah, and it changes. I might start with a color, but changes to something else. Yeah. But it is as I am going along. But the idea of it or the concept of it has already probably.
Can you stop? Or do you know when to stop a piece?
Yeah. Yes.
Or do you carry on until someone tells you to stop?
No, sometimes I stop, but I'm not 100% sure about whether the painting is finished. It needs to wait a bit, and this wait can be a week or a month.
You can come back to a piece and see it differently, and then carry on, can't you?
Yeah, but in some cases, you do know that that's it. So leave me alone.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm done with that. Okay, next one.
No, the painting says leave me alone.
Oh yeah.
You're lucky. I occasionally overpaint because I just keep tweaking.
Yeah,
but
that's a problem.
A psychologist was talking to me today at another event I went to, and she's a musician, and she was saying she read this really interesting. Freud did a thing about Michelangelo.
Yeah.
And about how he would never let his paintings go. He'd take, like Mona Lisa took him 5 years to paint, but then he used to travel around with it because he wouldn't let it go. Because one, it was part of him, but two, never quite finished.
No, Leonardo never quite finished any work. Yeah, that's true.
So the thing is that is a painting ever really finished? Because your emotions relating to it, the ideas, you keep growing.
Yeah.
It's not conscious, it's unconscious.
And I think the other thing which is as part of the process of for me is not doing one thing or one painting at the time. I work on several at the same time.
It can, it just takes your focus off of that for a little bit.
Yeah,
because if you constantly do that one,
yes. So that's another way of. I think it's developing the work. So it's not just one painting, for 2 weeks. It's I don't know, 3, 4.
That's another similarity, because I tend to work on about 30 paintings. I don't finish them all. I don't intend to finish them all. But if I just did one, it would be a disaster, because I've tried to put all the ideas into one painting.
You can't do that.
So if you spread it around and you have different, so I do drawings. We are completely different work practices. I do sketch. I have zillions of sketchbooks where I actually draw things out, change them around, change the sizes of the objects in it, and then I paint, and then I still change it on the canvas, because once you start going from a drawing to a painting, they look very different. You realise that when you add colour and tone,
it changes.
But in sketches, they're their own art piece in themselves, aren't they?
Yes, exactly.
Because this does change.
Yeah. And so a lot of my work is very similar to a lot of the modern photography, which is dereliction. And people keep going to me, why don't you just take photographs? Well, I go, one, I'm not a photographer. It's a skill in itself that I have not got. I don't have the patience, I don't have the eye.
You have to have the
eye.
You've got the
No, I don't have the eye for it. It's really funny. I can look at something and go, yes, I can make a painting of that.
That's interesting.
And then you take a photo, and the photo is never what I've seen.
Really?
And it's because I'm just not focusing the camera or the technology on the right way. But I'm not interested enough to do that, because I want to paint it.
Yeah, that's interesting, Tim. Yeah, that's interesting, because I thought you've got the eye, so you'd be the same.
And I don't think it's not that if I spent a year learning the technology of the camera, I still probably wouldn't be bothered, because actually I like the physicality of painting it, changing it. I mean, this is why I paint with oil. It moves. You can shift it around. You can. So that actually what you produce on the canvas has got nothing to do with what you actually saw to start with. But all my stuff looks like a place. It's just not the place that it's, because it's usually the light or the colour or a glint in the window, or it's like something.
And also, as a painting, you can juxtapose different things.
Yeah.
Whereas when you look at a frame of a photograph, you can't suddenly change.
No.
I mean, you might manipulate, but that's different.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
as soon as you take that picture, that's done.
You put the window somewhere else. Yes, perfectly all right.
I used to annoy people. Took 2 buildings in London next to each other that were in completely different parts of London. You can't do that. It's a painting. It's a story. It's not about
it's all about the story of the composition, isn't it? And that can be anything. Just like some of them with just dots on a canvas.
It's a bit like the Constable Hayway. He didn't paint the little car in the water,
Yeah.
he had sketched the car and he knew the place he wanted to paint. So he put them together because he thought, I need some interest in it.
Yeah.
They didn't have somebody with a poor horse sitting there with sodden legs for 3 weeks while he painted it.
You can imagine that you get done. Now you get done for animal cruelty if you can't get that horse out there. But
So
it
gives, for me, it gives me more freedom because I wouldn't want to sit in front of a computer and manipulate, which is really weird because I'll sit in front of a sketchbook and redraw. I mean,
That's different.
not redraw it, but differently draw things.
Yes.
I really wish that we would talk in the way that the Victorians were even about, you sketch things in books. It's almost embarrassing when you go out. We tried it last year, going to art galleries and sitting there with your books and sketching. And it is embarrassing because people look at you and go, "Oh, that's not really good." And you go, "Well, I'm not drawing that. I'm drawing this to give me the remembrance."
If they're art lovers and they've gone to a gallery, they should understand that. I don't think people do really, do they?
No, I think a lot of people.
I don't actually. It doesn't bother me. I mean, I don't think about what people think or might say or whatever. And also, when I love going to different museums and painting different things. And it's a question of the bit of a painting that you choose, or even the painting that you choose, which is important. So it's part of your expression.
Yeah. It's all about expressing yourself, isn't it?
This is where the difference between me being a nerd and you being a nerd is.
Nothing wrong with being nerdy. I'm a nerd with this kind of stuff. Yeah,
all my previous jobs, there was either wrong or right.
Yeah.
There is no wrong or right.
There is no right.
And we both deal with instructing young people, and I started in France doing classes for watercolour, and it's so amazing when a kid starts painting. You go, well, you can do whatever you want. There's no wrong or right, and they look at you, and then they just do it. And you do that to an adult, and they go, "What do you mean there's no wrong or right? You're supposed to tell me how to do it." It's like, yes, I can help you with how to achieve what you want. If you want a particular thing, but I'm not going to tell you what to do down there because if I did it, you would be copying me, and that's not you expressing yourself.
Right, yeah.
And that's the difficult thing.
That's exactly the same situation as if we're sitting in front of a painting. Why would I want to copy it exactly as it is?
Yeah, you're inspired
I want my
by
own. Exactly, I want my own.
Unless you could draw like Raphael.
He was learning from Michelangelo.
Who are these people you're talking about? Just mere
Yes.
I think whether it was a copyist or not. Let's not debate that.
I think, in the practical terms, being an artist, I think, is the hardest job in the universe because you are your own worst critic 90% of the time.
Yeah,
that's true.
And the number of things that you throw away, or I throw away anyway, because I don't think they're good enough.
Yes.
And then people pick them out of the bin and go, "But can I have that?" It's like, okay, and my other half keeps going, "Well, you don't value your stuff, you're not looking after it." It's like, I didn't value it because I didn't think it was good enough. So I should have done what...
you're thinking...
What's he say? Bacon did, and just burn it all.
Right, he used to come, right, and they go, "This is Sarah, this is the bit she threw away. It's worth millions."
Yes.
It's like the lost manuscripts or the Beatles song they've written it, but they threw it away. You never know.
I dread that retrospective in the Tate of all the terrible things some of my friends have got. They'll go, "Oh, it's going to be in the Tate." It's like, yes.
I don't
need Do you like doing exhibitions?
We are going to do an exhibition in June.
Lovely.
And
whereabouts?
Chelsea Library.
Oh, nice. I'm going to come down and see that.
Definitely.
Please. Definitely. So, let me know and I'll come down and see it.
Yeah, definitely.
It would be nice to see you in a formal setting.
It's
something different about it,
and also,
isn't it?
When you put an exhibition together, the pieces you have chosen, the way they come together, they themselves, it suddenly looks different, and it's something amazing about.
And it is the challenge of doing a joint show because we're both working on this project and we haven't finished any of our joint paintings, so this is an initial stage.
Who's the one who's going to crack the whip? Who's the one who's going to say we've got to have it done? Which one?
Sarah's very good at it.
It's the nerd in me. The annoying thing
is organising me, because otherwise I would just carry on.
Neda has so much work. Because she's very spontaneous, and actually you think she's not doing anything, and then she'll come up with this huge swathes of things she's done, which are all beautiful. And I take forever agonising over something. So
I think an artist have to have angst.
So I will crack the whip.
What would we do without angst?
No, definitely, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So I'll crack the whip, and then Neda will have more work in the show because she'll finish more stuff.
No.
But it's nice actually doing joint shows because it sort of takes the pressure off, because you know you're going to have enough work. But also it's interesting. I mean, the challenge for both of us is actually trying to find a way of explaining why somebody who does entirely abstract is with someone who does some very representational work, and why we think it works.
Yeah, but it's a nice mix, isn't it?
It is a nice mix. I think so. I think it's very...
And it's nice to... what's interesting for us is we have endless discussions, mainly because we're prevaricating about not working, about how we both see what we're being inspired by, which is, in this case, Persian poem.
Yeah.
But how we both interpret it, and what's the things that inspires us to paint from it.
Yeah.
And I will mainly be painting birds because it's about
birds. The book
birds.
is about birds. It's called Conference of the Birds.
Yeah, that's right.
But they're birds with personality, I think. But,
they do. Birds do have personality.
But what's funny is Neda, who doesn't is doing abstract marks which look like birds, which for the first time ever is like, actually, she is being representational almost. Which, and I am trying to be... I think my work has become slightly more gung-ho. Not gung-ho, but it's not... less
expressionist.
Expressionist. Yeah. A little less trying everything to be perfect.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, this is the good way of... I've always dreaded working with another artist, because I am so... It's got to be like this. So it's actually really drawing me out of my shell. Mm-hmm. Trouble is that we both have a problem if we keep coming up with other ideas and other things we want to do. So
this show will be one of many.
Huge. It'll be huge.
No. We've decided that we will split it into part 1, part 2, part 3. Exactly. So I think it would be nice to do that.
Yeah.
Because I think like anything else in life, it's ever changing.
Yeah.
So even this concept can be.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, they're very good.
Yes. Right.
How do you choose what you're going to put on? I know you got your theme, but how do you choose pieces? It's difficult.
Very good question. We'll find out.
If it's anything like the Piranesi show, Neda will go, "I've got nothing," and then you go through all these reams of things, and I think, I tend to do the curating on the joint shows, because
Sarah will choose.
I'm more dogmatic, and there are things that Ned will go, well, that's sort of...
Is it there?
Is this really the theme? And you go, of course it is, because everything you paint is this theme in this period.
Yeah.
Because you can't help not thinking about it. And she can be incredibly dismissive about something that's beautiful, because again, it's that thing of, well, I'm not quite sure if it really is there. Yeah. Which I find really odd, because your work is really beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know.
And you're far less discriminating about your work when it's actually somebody else makes the decision about it. So if somebody says, like your sister says, I want a Christmas card.
Yeah,
she has no problem selecting the bits of work and going, well, here they are, choose one. But for when we do joint shows, you get a sort of almost like, well, that's not really, and you go, no, Neda, it's really beautiful, apart from the big fingerprint you've just put on it because you've shoved it under the table.
That's your signature.
It was intentional.
Yeah. Is it the sort of, again, they're critiquing their own work?
Yeah, and I think that's what most healthy artists do, is you look at things and go, well, is that really working? And if you have the context that you want to fit it within, does it really fit? And you can be so judgmental, you dismiss things that actually other people would see. I see that as being part of that. But yeah, I mean, it's actually quite interesting that we're having a show which is the initial stage, well, the year after, but initial stages of this, because actually, as we're working together, I'm hoping by stage 3 we will have jointly worked on pieces of work, and probably quite big ones, because we're getting quite excited about it.
Yeah.
But
it's still very exciting.
But we can't decide on the
project.
format.
Yeah. But I think we work, we both work better under a project, rather than just saying, okay, I'm just producing art for the sake.
So you sort of want the deadline helps you.
The deadline helps, yes, especially
We've
that we come
done.
back. I think that coming from an academic background, because you've always worked under some kind of a deadline, and so you're used to it.
So it helps the focus.
So it helps, yes.
Because we both do our own work as well as doing this project. So I have paintings that I've had on the wall probably 3 years that I've never finished, because I go and dabble with them when I'm not actually doing a project, but it's actually almost a release.
Okay, I was just about to say that. Is that a nice getaway to the main thing at the moment?
And the thing is, there's no pressure to finish them, and I will never finish them because they'll just be dabbled with. But they're actually probably some of my better works because I'm not worrying about them.
No pressure.
But they are going to be my, 10 years later, I'm not going to finish them, and people will go, what on earth was that? Because there'll be so many different
Hodgkins, worked on pieces or left them in his 10 years. And then he sort of said, okay, it's finished. So, I think this idea of the fact that you have to continuously produce, or you have to have finished work, or how long does it take you, or why is it taking so long? And these are, I think, imposed on artists nowadays. Because it's something I think you should get rid of this issue and say, okay, I do whatever I do. There are days that I don't do, or there are days that I do, and if it takes 10 years, it takes 10 years.
It's almost we've got to that point where, because there's that big question now, what's the relevance of painting? Now you've got photographs and especially photographs that can be digitally enhanced to look like anything. Is why do you still paint? Why is it still relevant? But the fact is that actually a painting it's not a point in time, it's a progression through time. It's just on a flat surface, and that's very much noticeable in Neda's work. There's actually loads and loads of layers of ideas and history.
I don't think it will never go.
Absolutely.
It's like books when your tablets came out, and you could have 1,500 books on just one tablet. You don't have to have a library. They thought libraries were going to go, but they're not.
But no,
still going. People love a book.
Yes.
For the opening, for the feel, for the smell.
Yes.
Same with art.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Even with this AI thing, I don't think it will destroy art, because there'll still be people going against that, and hopefully lovers of art will prefer that to that.
Or even if they don't, the whole point is the AI is actually thinking about it. Because the whole programming for it to be able to paint is that it has to think and analyse, decide. And decisions are what makes things art. You have to decide, do I put that bit there? Do I keep that image? With photography, do I edit it to that square or that square of this frame? Those decisions are what makes it art, because it's the artist making those decisions.
Making the decision.
And
exactly.
Any artist, we could both try and, as we have done, draw from the same influence, and we both choose to draw some completely different things.
Completely different angles, yes.
And it's so you're thinking, well, that's the artist's decision-making process. And somebody once asked me when we had a joint show probably 6 years ago, and it wasn't, the artists together weren't cohesive on the basis that there was a bit jarring.
Group shows are always like that.
And somebody said, well, why have you put that with that? And well, actually, in this case, we didn't really have a choice. But the whole thing is that artists is about choice, and if every artist was the same, it would be a very dull world. If everybody was an abstract artist, it would be very dull. If everybody painted like Michelangelo, it would be a very dull world. Therefore,
even Raphael didn't paint.
You got to have individuality and your own expression.
Because the people who are looking at it are different. You've got to accept human beings are very different from one another and want different things, see different things. Our brains are such amazing machines that actually, we function differently.
Yours might be. Mine's a little bit empty, but there you go.
No, you just haven't found the access to the filing system yet.
I keep hearing the P rolling from side to side. There's not a
at
lot
least
in
you've
there.
got a P.
Yeah, there's not a lot in there.
Of course.
No. They say about grey cells, mine are just completely white. No, there's nothing much rolling in there. But yeah, no, it's amazing how we're all different and we all bring something, like you say,
and you all see
to
different
get
things.
5 people say, draw that vase. They'd all be different, wouldn't they?
Yes.
They'll all do that different.
And there'd all still be an image of the vase.
Yeah, you'd know it's the vase, but it'd be all over the place. Want to be exactly mirror image of the vase, and then there'd be one that look like but it's all valid art, isn't it? All of it.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it's art.
Thank you. Look at that. Look, it is. Nice little. Well done, Neda. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to just have that bit highlighted. At the end of the day, it's art, and it's just amazing. And I've done drawing when I was in school, but I can't draw.
But that's the misnomer where you. Half the problem with drawing, half the thing I like drawing is probably because I never did art at school, is that I never got told you can't draw.
Yeah.
And when I went to art college, I got told I can't paint. And yet I paint, and I sell paintings, therefore...
And you can draw very well.
But, so actually, it's other people's judgments that stop people using that part of their brain that is the art side.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not like so-and-so, therefore you're not a valid artist. Actually, if we're all like so-and-so, art would be incredibly boring.
Yeah, I think the problem is too many critics.
Definitely, yeah. I wanted to be a graphic designer, but back when I was in school in the 80s, there wasn't such a thing. Because, one, the computers weren't up to the standard they are now using the computer. I know not all graphic designers use computers. Back in the day, it was all drawing.
They drew.
But that's what I wanted to do, and they said, no, you can't do that. No, you pick one or the other. I went down the computer side because I didn't think my art was good enough. And here we are. But
yes,
it's the avenues you take. I don't think I would have ever been an artist.
You are an artist.
Oh yeah, I am. Yeah, I'll have to keep reminding myself. Yeah. But like someone said to me the other day, "You've got any pictures on your wall?" And apart from here, no, I haven't. I haven't got any at home, none at all. But they're all hanging up here. But I am. I've got to keep reminding myself that I'm a photographic artist. That's it. Thank you. It's Neda keeps reminding me. And look,
exactly.
She's very good at that. I think that's why I may nag her and I may curate the show, but she's actually really good at reminding you need to.
But it's nice to have someone who's interested in your work. Like Neda was always asking me what I'm doing next, because you don't see you ships passing in the night here, aren't we?
No.
And like we don't see each other every day, every week.
No.
It can be months, can't it?
Yeah,
we don't all come down here at the same time or all come down here at all.
Yeah.
So and it's nice when you ask what you're doing and that, and
it's important to
bounce off each other and stuff like that. It's
keep
really
in
good.
Contact,
But after this exhibition, anything, or you
don't
don't think
as I
of
said,
nothing?
it will be continuous.
So it's continuing.
We probably would, because
how close are they going to be together? Have you got that much body of work that they could be really close, or is it going to be like 6 months?
Not 6 months, maybe 3.
The first one is in June. So
we're going to be in middle of June. So week of the 16th.
Right, okay,
week of the 16th of June is going to be the exhibition. So and then probably
October-ish, And as ever, half of the problem is finding the space in London. It isn't exorbitantly expensive or not really a gallery. We don't mind that it's just finding space in London.
It's finding the space which really
but suits you.
And I think that again is part of the joy of being an artist and showing, is to go around and find these places. Would this suit me? Would this suit the work? How would it so that's in itself is important. So I think that for the first one is quite interesting that we're doing it in a library, because it is based on a book, and it would be nice to
it fits, doesn't it?
It's
sort of nice theme to it all.
Exactly. So it's a question of where next, but definitely next.
Yes, we are hassling spaces at this time.
Exactly.
It's them again. They're on the phone again.
Quickly.
Because the nature of being an artist is you are slightly scatological about life.
Yeah.
My other half keeps going, why don't you know what day of the week it is? It's because it doesn't matter.
No.
I draw every day.
Yeah.
Or most days. And if I'm not drawing, I'm thinking about what to draw.
Yeah.
But actually, organising self-organising a show, as opposed to having a gallerista who does it for you, means you have to think months in ahead.
It's hard work, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And it's a different side of the brain.
Even though I work for firms that push you and want you to get this done and that, I've never worked so hard doing this.
Yeah.
Because exactly that. You're chasing for like, your season's starting again, so I'm emailing this place and this exhibition, and can I do this, and looking for the opportunities.
Mm-hmm. And
it's hard work.
It's a completely different side of the brain you use for your artwork.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. I used to work in offices doing organisational stuff, organising events, and it was easy because it was part of the process of working. Yeah. This is not. You have to go, whoa, stop. I have to do all this research on venues, all this stuff about timelines, make sure we've got the blurb.
The blurb, yeah.
Make sure you've invited the people who are on your list going, yes, we want to come to your next show, and you completely forget them, and then they fall out with you because actually you've been looking at the wrong bit of paper. Because I'm an artist. I don't keep things laterally in a nice little Rolodex or whatever the modern
equivalent of the Rolodex is.
I have nobody else who sits there and goes, oh, have you remembered so and so? Which in a work environment, there's always somebody else who can help you as an artist
or remind you.
Neda and I have completely different range of contacts, so it's only us that are responsible for our own contacts, and it's like, I've had people turn up to open studios going, well, when was your show? I haven't seen a show for 5 years. And I'm, oh, well, I've had one, but I forgot to invite you. And they get really upset with you, and it's like, well, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't think I've got many friends who understand what I do. So I only have a few. I only have all you here. That's fine. One.
I know, but this is the beauty of an exhibition. You have to go bravely and say, come, it's a party.
Yeah.
Because the number of people I have now got who come to exhibitions because they came and they didn't know. And because there's all this thing when people go to galleries, people have this expectation. Oh, well, I have to be erudite about the art. And it's like, oh, you need to be able to discuss it. And it's like, no, you just need to look at it and go, I hate that, or I really like that.
They never say they hate you.
No.
No. But I mean, if you go to, I used to have this thing where when I became a full-time artist, of having all
darling.
all my work friends who are very pragmatic. I used to take them to the art galleries like Tate and things like that as a meet-up point, because for me it's a freebie. You can get in. Yeah. So it's not like, oh well, do you want to go to so and so and do this and it'll cost you £50? It's like, well, do you want to come to the Tate?
Yeah.
We'll just go wander around. They go, oh wow. They go, I'll buy you a drink afterwards. And I would say half of them now are members of the Tate because they didn't realise actually looking at art isn't actually a chore.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to look at every piece.
No, that's right.
You look at the pieces you get.
Yeah.
Or if you don't get it, you look at it a long time and go, that's stupid. But you don't have to be serious about it. The most people you see in art galleries giggling over a piece of work are probably artists. Because you know not to take a lot of things really seriously. If you don't like it, it's not bad art, it's not the art that you appreciate. And I think a lot of people are scared of art because they think, oh, I've got to really get it. And then you get the people coming to the gallery who just want something that matches their sofa, which is the depressing thing for me, because, unless they've got a green sofa, it's never going to match.
There's not enough burgundy in it. Isn't going to go with the shades.
Well, you have had, Neda's had people have asked them to repaint it in a different colour.
Yeah.
Really?
Have you got this in this, colour?
Oh, like,
no,
as if you
it only comes in blue.
Yeah, as if your habitat and you've got different ranges of colours sitting there with the same picture.
I mean, equally, that might be a valid comment. Some artists can do it in a different colour. It's just, it's horses for courses.
But then that's when you're sort of getting into the print world, when you have your art printed and you go, this is the original, these are the prints.
Yes.
And then it's continuously the same, and that brings it more commercially, doesn't it?
And that is a big problem, I think, for artists. Is a lot of pressure to be commercial almost from go-get. When actually the half thing is it's a vocation. It's something you can't help doing, and actually being commercial means you spend 90% of your time trying to flog the stuff.
Yeah.
Even if you haven't got it to flog by the end of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to be a marketeer. No. I want to be an artist.
I'm on Instagram daily. That I've got, I think 1,600 posts since I've been doing it. I'm on it all the time. Spare time, I'm posting something. I've settled down a little bit recently because
they say you
become
have to
saturated.
be on it all the time.
But it doesn't get me anywhere. I've only got like 200 followers when the other artists I know have got like thousands, and you think, how did you get that many? But then again, it's not an interest. Yeah, I don't think it's that.
Yes, because you can buy in. I mean, you can get. Well, you're an artist. You can buy in some for the followers. You're thinking, well, they're probably all based in China.
I'll get emails after emails going, "Oh, your photographs are fabulous," but we noticed that you not got much engagement. You can pay us £65 a month, and we'll. And I'm like, I ain't got that amount of money anyway. But no, if I don't get the followers,
things like that have to grow.
Oh yeah,
organically.
Yeah, definitely.
Because otherwise, it's meaningless.
You shouldn't stress over that again.
I mean, because you only need one person to buy a piece of work, so you know, it's about getting the people who actually get your work. The search in the YBAs has really sort of put pressure on everybody since the 80s. It's all about selling, and being out there and being a name, and it's like. Well, actually, I would never in my lifetime produce enough work to be able to be a name. And, because, you could get prints made, but actually then I'm not selling my work. Am I just like Athena or whatever? I'm selling prints of stuff that...
So you don't want to be in those little frames where you go into Athena and move the metal frames along and go, oh, look, there's a Sarah. But it's... I don't like the commercial part of it. I think it's...
And the art
waters it down, doesn't it?
And the art world can be quite schizophrenic about it, because they really had a go. Who was that Scottish artist who did the people dancing on beaches? I've forgotten his name. But they were really derogatory about him, because he made millions out of just selling things which are basically Athena art. Nice pictures. But it's like, if people want to buy that art, isn't it still art?
Yeah, it is,
So, Jeff Koons equally makes millions out of selling puppies made of flowers, but it's still art. It's cute, though. Cute doesn't mean it's not art. It just means it's not some people's taste.
No, that's right. But I think art it's got to make you think.
Yes,
I do.
Yes,
I think it's all right having a nice flower in a meadow, but I think you've got to have some substance behind it. Really,
but. Having said that, again, it's very difficult to necessarily mark it as art or non-art. Because it might not. It will talk to somebody.
It's just it's hard work.
and it's very difficult to be original. There have been artists for centuries, and so coming up with the original idea is actually.
No, I think that because the idea but every time it will be original because it is done by somebody else. It is done by. Again, or in a different way. Therefore, it is original in a way.
Superb, and I'm going to come and see your exhibition.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for talking to me.
Well, thank you very much for having us.
Nice to meet you and speak to you, and nice to actually speak to you for ages rather than me just quick natter at the coffee there.
Definitely.
Thank you very much for coming and seeing me.
It was lovely.
What a wonderful conversation. It's nice to have two artists in the studio at once. Oh, maybe three, if you're including myself. It was interesting to hear all about their artistry and what they do and how they create their art form. And also that they're going to be having one or multiple of exhibitions coming soon. I believe Neda said in June. There, in the description below, there are links to their Instagrams and various outlets, so you'll be able to find out details of that exhibition. I'm sure it'll be wonderful, and I'll be definitely going down there to have a look, be inspired as usual, and we move forward. I would like to ask a favour, if you wouldn't mind, on sharing, liking, subscribing, following, whatever you have to do with all this social media thing and podcast entity. And also, if you're an artist and would like to speak to me and have a chat and let me delve into your world of art, be it sculptures, photography, any kind, I'm really interested and would like to speak to more people. So please get in touch via the comments below. Also, I am on Instagram myself as photoglory1. You can get in touch with me through there. If you'd like to DM me, please do. Thank you. And that was It's Art at the End of the Day.